Español 1, capítulo 2, tu sala de clases, lección 2. I versus Estar. Ay, 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 ay! I'm going to ask a question. ¿Hay una persona en este video? Is there anybody in this video? ¿Dónde está Maestro David? Aquí estoy! I don't know if you laughed or not. Okay. So we're talking about I and Estar. You've been hearing these words a little bit, and now we're going to get into more details about what they mean. Haber is an ER verb. It conjugates to mean I. Well, it conjugates to I. The cool thing about this, there's only ever one conjugation of haber in this context, which is I. You don't say I, or abes, or ava. You don't have to worry about it. It's just one conjugation, I. And it means, depending on the context, one of two things. It can mean there is, or it can mean there are. So, if it's there is or there are, you have to know the context of what you're talking about. And as soon as you say there is or there are, you know that you're referring to something indefinite or a specific number. So, with I, you never use el, la, los, or las. For example, you never say, I las personas en la clase. No. You say, hay personas en la clase. Hay una persona en esta grabación, en este video. Okay? Never use el, la. So, the word order. You start with I, and then you either put the number, I dos bojangles en la avenida Newbern. Hay dos bojangles in Newbern Avenue. Why are there two so close together? I do not know. But anyway, so use I and then the number, just like what you see. For some reason, they always have it all over the TV. Number and then a name, right? Well, I number, hay dos, hay tres, hay cuatro. Okay, or an indefinite article. We're going to talk about that in an upcoming lesson. Indefinite article is una, unos, or unas. Okay, so hay una persona en el video. Hay tres personas en este salón. All right, and here's some more examples. Question: hay un McDonald's in Raleigh? Ba 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 ba. Woo! Hay muchos McDonald's in Raleigh. I don't really like McDonald's that much. I'm more of a Hardee's kind of a guy. All right. So, hay una escuela in Clarendon Crescent. That's no longer a question. That's a statement. For those of you who don't know, Clarendon Crescent is the name of the street where Inlow is located. So, this is a true statement. Hay una escuela en Clarendon Crescent. Hay dos estudiantes en la sala. Okay, they're on summer vacation, but they're still students. Hay dos estudiantes en la sala. Hay muchas personas en Raleigh. But then you can use a negative. No hay muchas personas in Lizard Lick, North Carolina. Now, Lizard Lick is a real place. It's a really cool place. I've driven through it before. All right, but no hay muchas personas in Lizard Lick, North Carolina. And then, hay un dibujo. I wonder what dibujo could mean. You've learned it. Hay un dibujo al lado de esta frase, which I should have a period right here. And I bet you can figure out what that is. Hay un dibujo al lado de esta frase. Let's move away from haber, I, to Estar. All right. Estar, it's regular with the conjugation. So what I mean by that is you're using estoy, está, estás, estamos, están, and then you just keep going. So, typically you're going to use está or están for what we're talking about now when we're distinguishing between haber and estar. So, I and está or están. But there's a difference on word order than with haber, all right? With estar, you either put the number or the article and then your conjugation. So whereas before it was hay un maestro en la sala, now you would say un maestro está en la sala. Or el maestro está en la sala. Well, that's where with Estar, you can either use definite or indefinite articles, okay? You can be a definite reference. El maestro, you're referring to somebody specific. El maestro está aquí. Right? Okay? Or maybe I'm not talking about me. Maybe I'm just talking about any general teacher. Los maestros están en la escuela. Right? Okay? Oh no. Los maestros, I'm talking about some specific ones. But I don't know which ones are, so I could just say unos maestros están en la escuela. Again, word order. First you use the number or you use the article, and then you go with Estar. So here are some examples. Got a couple questions. ¿Los estudiantes están aquí? No. Los estudiantes no están aquí porque es agosto. Es el verano. You're still on vacation. All right, but when you're watching this, then you will possibly be here. But it doesn't matter. You figure that out. El director, that's Mr. Lyons right now, okay, unless this video becomes many years old and he changes. All right, but el director está en una reunión. Well, if anybody knows anything about responsibilities of administration, probablemente el director está en una reunión. Dos estudiantes están en el salón. That is a true statement. Un maestro está aquí. All right, that's haber versus estar, I versus están. But now we're going to shift over here because this chapter also has, when I teach estar and I, it has some really important questions that accompany them. And these are the questions that you are responsible to know. Should I be on this side? Okay. These are the questions that you are responsible to know. ¿Dónde está? So we're using the word ¿dónde? Watch how I teach it. ¿Dónde? All right. ¿Dónde está or dónde están? ¿Dónde está el señor Lyons? El señor Lyons está en su oficina. ¿Dónde están los estudiantes? Los estudiantes están en la alberca. They're at the swimming pool. Okay? ¿Dónde hay un McDonald's? Hay un McDonald's in Cameron Village. Okay, actually there are almost two of them there. Okay, ¿cuántos estudiantes hay en la sala? Hay dos estudiantes. ¿Cuántos McDonald's hay en Cameron Village? Hay dos, etc. ¿Cuántos están? ¿Cuántos están? Okay, ¿cuántas personas? ¿Cuántos estudiantes? So make sure that your masculine and your feminine match up there. Then you have other questions. Hay, están. Now it's no longer a who, what, when, where question, or how many, all right, or how much. It's a yes or no question. ¿Hay muchas personas en la escuela hoy? No, no hay muchas personas en la escuela hoy. ¿Están unas personas en la escuela hoy? Sí, hay unas personas en la escuela hoy. ¿Qué más hay en la escuela? ¿Qué más hay? What else is there? Okay, well, hay sillas, hay marcadores, etc., etc., etc. All right, then we have ¿quién? ¿Quién está aquí? Yo estoy aquí y mis hijos, my kids, están aquí. And they're not too happy about it because this is their summer vacation. Okay, ¿qué está en mi mano? Las llaves están en mi mano. Ooh. ¿Qué es esto? ¿Qué es esto? ¡Es la tarea! No, I don't know what it is. Es un papel. ¿Qué es esto? All right. What is that? When it's undefined, you use esto. ¿Qué es esto? What is that? Ew. Look on the bottom of your desk. Touch something. Ew, ¿qué es esto? All right, that's it for this lesson. Adios.